Money is one of the most misunderstood forces in human life. Almost everyone spends their entire life chasing it, yet very few truly understand how it works. People wake up early, work long hours, sacrifice their time and energy, and still struggle financially. At the same time, there are others who seem to move through life with ease, building wealth, growing opportunities, and living with freedom. This difference is not luck, it is not magic, and it is not always about how hard someone works. The difference lies in understanding the rules of money. From a young age, most people are taught to earn money, but not how to manage it, grow it, or multiply it. Schools teach subjects that prepare individuals for jobs, but rarely teach financial intelligence. Families pass down habits, but not always the right ones. Society encourages spending as a sign of success, while hiding the principles that actually create wealth. As a result, many people live in a cycle where they earn, spend, struggle, and repeat without ever stepping out of that loop. Rich people live by a different set of rules. These rules are not secret in the sense that they are hidden, but they are rarely explained in a simple and practical way. They are learned through experience, through observation, and through a deep understanding of how money flows. These rules shape decisions, guide actions, and influence habits that lead to long-term wealth. They are not about shortcuts or overnight success. They are about clarity, discipline, patience, and awareness. Imagine two individuals starting from the same point. Both have similar education, similar opportunities, and similar resources. One follows the traditional path, works hard, earns a salary, spends on lifestyle, and saves a little. The other learns how money works, invests early, builds assets, and creates multiple sources of income. After 10 or 20 years, their lives look completely different. One is still working for money, while the other has reached a point where money works for them. The difference is not effort. The difference is knowledge and application of the right principles. This book is not just about making money. It is about understanding money at a deeper level. It is about changing the way you think about earning, spending, saving, and investing. It is about recognizing the patterns that keep people stuck and learning how to break free from them. It is about seeing opportunities where others see obstacles and building a mindset that attracts growth rather than limitation. Throughout this journey, you will explore the habits, beliefs, and strategies that wealthy individuals follow. You will see real-life examples that show how small decisions made consistently over time can lead to powerful results. You will begin to understand that wealth is not built in a moment, but in a series of choices repeated every day. Each chapter will reveal a piece of the puzzle, helping you connect the dots and see the bigger picture of financial success. There will be moments where the truth may challenge what you have always believed. You may realize that some habits you considered normal are actually holding you back. This is not meant to discourage you, but to empower you. Awareness is the first step toward change. Once you see the rules clearly, you can choose to follow them and reshape your financial future. Money itself is not good or bad. It is simply a tool. In the hands of someone who understands it, money can create freedom, security, and opportunities, not just for themselves, but for others as well. In the hands of someone who does not understand it, money can create stress, confusion, and limitation. The goal is not just to have money, but to have control over it and to use it wisely. This journey will require an open mind and a willingness to learn. It will ask you to question old beliefs and adopt new perspectives. It will show you that building wealth is not reserved for a select few, but is possible for anyone who is ready to understand and apply the rules. As you move forward, remember that knowledge alone is not enough. Action is what transforms ideas into results. The principles you will discover are powerful, but their true value lies in how you use them in your own life. Every step you take, every decision you make, and every habit you build will shape your path. The rules of money are not complicated, but they are often ignored. Those who learn them and live by them create a different reality for themselves. They move from uncertainty to clarity, from struggle to stability, and from limitation to possibility. This is where your journey. Chapter 1. Understanding Money Beyond Cash. Most people grow up believing that money is something you earn and spend. It is seen as paper notes numbers in a bank account, or the salary that arrives at the end of the month. This limited understanding is where the struggle begins. Because when you only see money as something you exchange for time, you automatically place a ceiling on how much you can ever have. Rich people see money differently. They understand that money is not just something you earn, it is something that flows, something that grows, and something that responds to how you think and act. Money is not only a physical object, it is a system. It moves through economies, businesses, investments, and decisions. It behaves in patterns and follows rules. When you begin to see money as a system, rather than a possession, your perspective changes. Instead of asking, how can I earn more, you start asking, how can I make money work for me? This simple shift is powerful because it moves you from being a participant in the system to someone who understands and uses the system. Consider the story of two friends, Amir and Bilal. Both started their careers at the same company, earning similar salaries. Amir believed that the only way to improve his life was to work harder and wait for promotions. He spent most of his income on daily needs and small comforts, telling himself that he deserved it after working so hard. Bilal, on the other hand, became curious about money. He started reading about investing, saving, and building assets. Instead of spending everything he earned, he began setting aside a portion to invest. At first, the difference between them was not visible. They both lived similar lives and faced similar challenges. As years passed, their paths began to separate. Amir continued to depend on his job. Whenever expenses increased, he felt pressure and stress. His income grew slowly, but so did his spending. Bilal started seeing results from his investments. His money began to generate more money. He was not working more hours than Amir, but his financial situation was improving faster. Eventually, Bilal reached a point where his investments were covering a large part of his expenses. Amir was still exchanging time for money, while Bilal had learned how to make money flow toward him. This difference did not come from luck or background. It came from understanding money beyond cash. Rich people know that money has behavior. It grows when it is invested wisely, and it disappears when it is spent without thought. It is attracted to value and discipline, and it avoids chaos and ignorance. When you treat money as something static, it remains limited. When you treat it as something dynamic, it begins to expand. Another important truth is that money follows attention. Where you focus your thoughts and actions is where your financial energy goes. If you constantly think about scarcity, fear, and lack, you will make decisions that reflect those feelings. You might avoid opportunities, hesitate to invest, or settle for less than you deserve. On the other hand, when you focus on growth, learning, and possibility, you start noticing opportunities that others ignore. You become more willing to take calculated risks and more open to new ideas. Think about a small shop owner named Kareem. At first, he struggled to keep his business running. He saw money as something that was always slipping away. Every expense felt like a loss. Instead of giving up, he decided to change his approach. He started learning about customer behavior, pricing, and value creation. He improved his products and focused on serving his customers better. Slowly, his business began to grow. Money started coming in more consistently. What changed was not just his strategy, but his understanding of money. He stopped seeing it as something scarce and started seeing it as something that responds to value. Rich people also understand that money is a tool, not a goal. Many people chase money thinking that having more of it will solve all their problems. But without understanding how to use it, money can create as many problems as it solves. Wealthy individuals focus on what money can do. They use it to create freedom to invest in opportunities and to build systems that generate more wealth. They do not just accumulate money, they direct it with purpose. There is also a hidden truth that most people overlook. Money amplifies who you are. If you are disciplined and thoughtful, money will increase your ability to create and grow. If you are careless and impulsive, money will magnify those traits and lead to losses. This is why some people become rich and lose everything, while others build wealth steadily over time. The difference lies in their habits and understanding. To truly understand money, you must also let go of certain beliefs that limit you. Many people believe that money is hard to earn, that rich people are lucky, or that wealth is only for a select few. These beliefs create invisible barriers. They shape your actions and keep you stuck in the same patterns. Rich people replace these beliefs with empowering ones. They believe that money can be created, that opportunities exist everywhere, and that learning never stops. Imagine a young woman named Sana, who believed that she could never become financially independent because she came from a modest background. For years, she worked hard, but never thought beyond her salary. One day, she attended a seminar on financial education. She learned about investing, saving, and building assets. At first, it felt overwhelming, but she decided to start small. She began saving a small portion of her income and gradually invested in simple opportunities. Over time, her confidence grew, and so did her wealth. Her life changed not because she suddenly earned more, but because she started understanding money differently. This chapter is not about complex financial strategies. It is about changing your perception. Before you can build wealth, you must see money for what it truly is. It is not just something you earn and spend. It is something you manage, grow, and direct. It is a system that rewards knowledge, discipline, and patience. As you move forward, remember that every financial decision you make is a reflection of your understanding. Every choice to spend, save, or invest shapes your future. When you begin to think like someone who understands money, your actions start to align with that thinking. Over time, these actions create results that once seemed out of reach. Understanding money beyond cash is the first step. It opens your mind to possibilities that were always there, but never noticed. It prepares you for the deeper rules that follow. And most importantly, it gives you the power to take control of your financial journey instead of being. Chapter 2. The Power of Assets. Most people spend their entire lives chasing income. They wake up every day, go to work, earn money, and then use that money to pay for their lifestyle. At first, this seems normal and even necessary. But hidden inside this pattern is a cycle that keeps people financially stuck. Rich people understand something that completely changes this cycle. They know that income alone will never make you truly wealthy. The real power lies in assets. An asset is anything that puts money into your pocket without requiring your constant effort. It is something that works for you, even when you are not working. This idea may sound simple, but it changes everything. Because when you shift your focus from earning money to building assets, you begin to create a system where money flows to you instead of always flowing away from you. Imagine two individuals, Hassan and Imran. Both earn the same monthly salary and live in the same city. Hassan spends most of his income on upgrading his lifestyle. He buys the latest phone, enjoys expensive outings, and dreams of buying a luxury car. Imran lives differently. He controls his spending and uses a portion of his income to invest. At first, their lives look very similar. They both go to work and earn money. But over time, their choices begin to show results. Hassan finds himself needing more money as his lifestyle grows. His expenses increase, and he feels pressure to earn more. No matter how much he earns, it never seems enough. Imran, on the other hand, starts building small assets. He invests in stock, saves for a small property, and looks for opportunities to grow his money. Slowly, these assets begin to generate income. It may not be much in the beginning, but it grows over time. Years later, Imran has multiple streams of income, while Hassan is still dependent on his job. This is the difference between living for income and building assets. Income requires your time and energy. Assets multiply your time and energy. Rich people focus on acquiring assets because they understand that this is the only way to achieve financial independence. Another important point is that not everything that looks valuable is actually an asset. Many people believe that owning expensive items means they are wealthy. They buy cars, gadgets, and luxury goods, thinking these are signs of success. In reality, most of these things are liabilities. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. It requires maintenance, repairs, and ongoing expenses. For example, a man named Tariq bought an expensive car to impress others. The car looked impressive, but it came with high fuel costs, maintenance bills, and loan payments. Instead of improving his financial situation, it became a burden. At the same time, another man named Usman invested in a small rental property. Every month that property generated income. While Tariq was paying for his car, Usman was earning from his investment. Rich people are very careful about this difference. Before they buy anything, they ask a simple question: will this put money in my pocket or take money out of it? This question guides their decisions and helps them avoid financial traps. Assets come in many forms. Real estate is one of the most common examples. A rental property can provide steady income over time. Stocks and investments can grow in value and generate returns. Businesses can create ongoing profits. Even skills can become assets if they allow you to earn more or create opportunities. The key is to focus on things that grow in value or generate income. Consider the story of a young man named Farhan. He started with very little money, but had a strong desire to improve his life. Instead of spending his income on temporary pleasures, he invested in learning digital skills. Over time, he started freelancing and building an online business. That business became an asset. It continued to generate income even when he was not actively working. His decision to invest in an asset changed his entire future. One of the reasons people struggle to build assets is because it requires patience. Assets do not usually produce instant results. They grow slowly and require consistency. This can be frustrating in a world where people want quick rewards. But rich people understand that slow growth is powerful. They are willing to wait because they know the long-term benefits. Think of planting a tree. In the beginning, it is small and does not provide much shade. It requires care and attention. But as it grows, it becomes stronger and more valuable. Eventually, it provides shade, fruit, and stability. Assets work in the same way. They may seem small at first, but over time, they can transform your financial life. Another challenge is discipline. Building assets means making choices that are not always easy. It means saving when you want to spend and investing when others are consuming. It means thinking about the future instead of only focusing on the present. This discipline is what separates those who build wealth from those who remain stuck. Rich people also understand the importance of reinvesting. When their assets generate income, they do not immediately spend it. They use it to acquire more assets. This creates a cycle of growth. Each asset leads to another, and over time, this chain becomes a powerful financial system. For example, a woman named Nadia started by investing in a small business. The profits from that business allowed her to invest in another opportunity. Over the years, she built multiple sources of income. She did not rely on a single asset. She created a network of assets that supported each other. This is how wealth is built, step by step, with patience and strategy. It is also important to understand that building assets is not limited to a specific group of people. You do not need to be born rich or have a high income to start. What you need is the right mindset and the willingness to begin. Even small investments can grow into something significant over time. As you move forward in your journey, think about your current financial habits. Are you focused only on earning and spending, or are you building assets? Every decision you make has an impact. Choosing to invest even a small amount can set you on a different path. The power of assets lies in their ability to create freedom. When your assets generate enough income to cover your expenses, you are no longer dependent on a job. You gain control over your time and your life. This is the ultimate goal of understanding money. This chapter is a reminder that wealth is not built through income alone. It is built through assets that grow and multiply over time. When you begin to focus on building assets, you take a step closer to financial independence. Chapter 3. The Mindset Shift. Before money changes in your life, your mindset must change first. This is one of the most powerful and often ignored rules that rich people understand deeply. Many people try to improve their financial situation by working harder, earning more, or searching for opportunities, but they do not realize that their thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes about money are silently controlling their results. Without changing the way you think, no amount of effort will create lasting wealth. Your mindset is like a lens through which you see the world. It shapes how you react to opportunities, how you deal with challenges, and how you make decisions. If your mindset is limited, your actions will also be limited. If your mindset is expansive, your actions will follow that direction. Rich people invest heavily in developing a mindset that supports growth, learning, and possibility. Consider the story of two individuals, Zain and Haris. Both had similar skills and started their careers at the same time. Zain believed that success was reserved for lucky people. He often said that business is risky and that stable jobs are the only safe path. Haris believed that opportunities exist for those who are willing to learn and take action. When they both faced a chance to start a small business, Zain hesitated and focused on the risks. Haris decided to try, even though he was unsure of the outcome. In the beginning, Haris struggled. He made mistakes, faced losses, and doubted himself at times. But instead of giving up, he treated every failure as a lesson. He adjusted his approach, improved his skills, and kept moving forward. Zain watched from a distance, feeling safe in his job, but also feeling stuck. Years later, Haris built a successful business, while Zain remained in the same position, wondering what could have been. The difference was not intelligence or talent. It was mindset. Rich people do not see failure as the end. They see it as part of the process. This is a major shift that separates them from others. When most people fail, they feel discouraged and stop trying. They attach their self-worth to the outcome and become afraid of making mistakes. Rich people detach their identity from failure. They understand that mistakes are temporary, but lessons are permanent. This allows them to keep moving forward, even when things are not going as planned. Another important aspect of mindset is the belief in abundance. Many people operate from a scarcity mindset. They believe that opportunities are limited, that money is hard to earn, and that someone else's success reduces their own chances. This way of thinking creates fear and competition. It leads to hesitation and missed opportunities. Rich people think differently. They believe that there is enough for everyone, and that opportunities can be created, not just found. This belief encourages them to take action, collaborate, and explore new ideas. Think about a woman named Aisha, who always believed that she would never achieve financial success because she came from a modest background. She avoided taking risks and stayed within her comfort zone. One day she decided to change her thinking. She started reading books, listening to successful people, and challenging her own beliefs. Gradually, her mindset shifted. She began to see possibilities instead of limitations. She took small steps, invested in her skills, and eventually built a successful career. Her external results changed only after her internal beliefs changed. Rich people also understand the importance of taking responsibility. Instead of blaming circumstances, they focus on what they can control. They do not waste time complaining about the economy, their background, or other people. They ask themselves, what can I do differently? What can I learn? And how can I improve? This sense of ownership gives them power because it puts them in control of their actions and outcomes. Another mindset shift is the willingness to delay comfort for growth. Many people choose what feels easy in the moment. They avoid challenges and seek immediate rewards. Rich people are willing to step out of their comfort zone. They understand that growth happens when you face difficulties and push your limits. They are willing to feel uncomfortable today to create a better tomorrow. For example, a young man named Salman wanted to improve his financial situation. Instead of spending his evenings relaxing, he decided to learn new skills. It was not easy, and he often felt tired after work. But he stayed consistent. Over time, those skills opened new opportunities and increased his income. His willingness to sacrifice short-term comfort led to long-term success. Your environment also plays a role in shaping your mindset. The people you spend time with influence your thoughts and actions. If you are surrounded by negativity, doubt, and fear, it becomes harder to think positively and take action. Rich people are intentional about their environment. They connect with people who inspire them, challenge them, and encourage growth. They seek mentors and learn from those who have achieved what they aspire to achieve. It is important to understand that changing your mindset is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process. Old beliefs may return, and challenges may test your thinking. The key is to remain aware and keep reinforcing positive habits. Reading, learning, reflecting, and taking action are all part of this process. One powerful exercise is to observe your thoughts about money. Notice what you say to yourself when you think about earning, saving, or investing. Are your thoughts supportive or limiting? Do you believe that you can grow financially, or do you doubt your ability? Becoming aware of these patterns is the first step to changing them. Rich people train their minds to focus on solutions rather than problems. When they face a challenge, they do not get stuck in negativity. They look for ways to overcome it. This proactive approach allows them to move forward even in difficult situations. It also builds confidence because every problem solved adds to their experience. Imagine a business owner named Rehan who faced a sudden loss in his company. Instead of giving up, he analyzed what went wrong and searched for solutions. He adapted his strategy and rebuilt his business stronger than before. His mindset turned a setback into a comeback. This ability to respond positively to challenges is a key trait of financially successful individuals. As you reflect on this chapter, think about your own mindset. Are your beliefs helping you move forward or holding you back? Are you open to learning and change, or are you stuck in old patterns? The answers to these questions will guide your journey. The truth is that money follows mindset. When you think differently, you act differently, and when you act differently, you create different results. This chapter is an invitation to start that change. It is a reminder that the way you think is the foundation of everything you will build. Shifting your mindset is not always easy, but it is always worth it. It opens doors that you never noticed before and gives you the confidence to walk through them. It transforms challenges into opportunities and dreams into achievable goals. This is where real change begins. Chapter 4. Learning the language of money. Money has a language, and like any language, it must be learned before it can be understood and used effectively. Most people spend years working for money, but never take the time to learn how money actually works. They earn, they spend. and they hope things will improve. Rich people do something different. They learn the language of money so they can control it, guide it, and grow it. The language of money is not about complicated formulas or difficult theories. It is about understanding basic concepts that shape financial decisions. It is about knowing how money moves, how it grows, and how it can be protected. When you understand this language, you begin to see opportunities that were always there, but hidden from your awareness. Consider the example of two brothers, Adnan and Fahad. Both received the same amount of money as an inheritance. Adnan had never taken the time to learn about money. He saw the inheritance as an opportunity to enjoy life. He spent it on travel, expensive items, and short-term pleasures. Within a few years, the money was gone, and he found himself back where he started. Fahad took a different approach. He spent time learning about investing, saving, and managing money. He used the inheritance to buy assets and create income streams. Over time, his money grew and provided him with stability and freedom. The difference between them was not the amount of money they received, but their understanding of how to use it. One of the first elements of the language of money is understanding income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. These are simple words, but they hold powerful meaning. Income is the money you earn. Expenses are the money you spend. Assets are things that generate income or increase in value. Liabilities are things that take money away from you. Many people confuse these concepts, which leads to poor decisions. Rich people are very clear about these definitions and use them to guide their actions. Another important part of this language is understanding how money grows. Money does not grow by sitting idle. It grows when it is invested wisely. This could be in businesses, real estate, stocks, or other opportunities. Growth takes time and requires patience. Rich people do not expect instant results. They understand that consistent investment and reinvestment lead to powerful outcomes over the long term. Think about a young woman named Hina who decided to learn about investing. At first, she found it confusing. Terms like returns, risk, and diversification felt overwhelming. Instead of giving up, she continued learning step by step. She started with small investments and gradually increased her knowledge. Over time, she became confident in her decisions, and her money began to grow. Her journey shows that learning the language of money is a process that anyone can follow with patience and determination. Taxes are another part of this language that many people ignore. Rich people understand how taxes work and use legal strategies to manage them effectively. They do not avoid taxes, but they plan their finances in a way that reduces unnecessary burden. This knowledge allows them to keep more of what they earn and use it to build more wealth. For example, a businessman named Kemran structured his income through investments and business expenses in a way that minimized his tax liability. Another person with similar earnings, but without this knowledge, paid much more in taxes. This difference highlights how understanding the system can create significant advantages. Financial statements are also part of the language of money. These include records of income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. Rich people regularly review their financial position. They know where their money is coming from and where it is going. This awareness helps them make better decisions and avoid unnecessary losses. Many people avoid looking at their finances because it feels uncomfortable, but ignoring it only creates more problems. Imagine a shop owner named Nadim who never tracked his income and expenses. He believed his business was doing well because sales were high. Over time, he realized that his costs were also increasing and his profits were shrinking. By the time he understood the situation, it was difficult to recover. In contrast, another shop owner named Irfan kept detailed records and reviewed them regularly. He identified problems early and adjusted his strategy. His business remained stable and profitable. This example shows the importance of understanding and using financial information. Another key aspect of the language of money is understanding risk. Every financial decision involves some level of risk. Rich people do not ignore risk, but they learn how to measure and manage it. They gather information, analyze options, and make informed decisions. This reduces uncertainty and increases the chances of success. Learning this language also changes the way you think about opportunities. Instead of seeing something as simply good or bad, you begin to analyze it. You ask questions about potential returns, possible risks, and long-term impact. This approach leads to smarter choices and better outcomes. It is important to remember that learning the language of money is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming aware and improving over time. Even small improvements in understanding can lead to significant changes in results. The key is to stay curious and keep learning. Rich people dedicate time to financial education. They read books, attend seminars, and learn from others who have experience. They treat learning as an investment because they know that knowledge creates opportunities. This habit sets them apart from those who rely only on what they already know. Consider a young man named Usama who decided to spend 1 hour each day learning about money. At first, it felt slow, and he did not see immediate results. But over time, his knowledge grew, and he began to apply what he learned. His financial situation improved, and he gained confidence in his decisions. His story shows that consistent learning can lead to powerful change. As you reflect on this chapter, think about your own understanding of money. Do you know how it works, or are you simply using it without deeper knowledge? Are you aware of your financial position, or do you avoid looking at it? These questions can help you identify areas where you can improve. The language of money is not reserved for experts or professionals. It is available to anyone who is willing to learn. Once you understand it, you gain the ability to make better decisions, avoid common mistakes, and create opportunities for growth. This chapter is a reminder that knowledge is one of the most valuable assets you can have. When you understand money, you are no longer controlled by it. You become the one who directs it, shapes it, and uses it to build the life you want. Learning the language of money is not just a skill, it is a transformation. It changes the way you see the world and the way you interact with it. And once you begin this journey, you will never look at money. Chapter 5. Risk and Reward. One of the biggest differences between people who struggle financially and those who build wealth is how they understand risk. For many people, risk is something to be avoided at all costs. It represents danger, loss, and uncertainty. This fear often keeps them in safe, but limited situations where growth is slow and opportunities are missed. Rich people see risk differently. They do not run away from it, but they do not chase it blindly either. They learn how to understand it, manage it, and use it as a tool for growth. Life itself is full of risk. Choosing a job is a risk. Starting a business is a risk. Investing money is a risk. Even doing nothing is a risk, because it can lead to missed opportunities and stagnation. The key is not to eliminate risk, because that is impossible. The key is to take calculated risks that have the potential to create meaningful rewards. Consider the story of two friends, Danish and Kasim. Both had some savings and wanted to improve their financial situation. Danish was afraid of losing money, so he kept all his savings in a basic account where it earned almost nothing. He felt safe, but his money did not grow. Kasim decided to learn about investments. He did not rush into anything without knowledge. He studied different options, understood the risks, and started with small amounts. In the beginning, he made some mistakes and even faced losses. But he learned from those experiences and improved his decisions. Over time, his investments began to grow and his financial position strengthened. Danish remained in the same place while Kasim moved forward. The difference was not luck, it was how they approached risk. Rich people understand that risk and reward are connected. Higher rewards often come with higher risks, but that does not mean every risky decision is worth taking. The goal is to find opportunities where the potential reward justifies the level of risk. This requires knowledge, patience, and careful thinking. It is not about gambling or taking chances without understanding. It is about making informed decisions. Another important aspect of risk is preparation. When you are prepared, the same situation becomes less risky. For example, a person who invests in a business without understanding the market faces a high level of risk. Another person who studies the market, analyzes trends and plans carefully, reduces that risk significantly. Preparation does not guarantee success, but it increases the chances of a positive outcome. Think about a young entrepreneur named Saad who wanted to start a small business. Instead of jumping in blindly, he spent time researching his industry, understanding customer needs, and planning his finances. When he finally launched his business, he still faced challenges, but he was better equipped to handle them. His preparation turned a risky decision into a manageable one. Fear is one of the biggest barriers when it comes to risk. Many people allow fear to control their decisions. They imagine worst-case scenarios and become paralyzed. Rich people also feel fear, but they do not let it stop them. They acknowledge it and move forward with awareness. They understand that avoiding all risk often leads to missed opportunities and regret. There is also a difference between smart risk and careless risk. Smart risk is based on knowledge, planning, and strategy. Careless risk is based on emotion, impulse, and lack of understanding. For example, investing all your money in a single opportunity without research is careless. Diversifying your investments and understanding each option is smart. Rich people focus on reducing unnecessary risk while still pursuing opportunities. Consider the example of a woman named Rabia, who had the opportunity to invest in a new venture. Instead of putting all her money into it, she decided to invest a portion while keeping the rest in other investments. This way, she balanced risk and protected herself from a total loss. Her approach allowed her to participate in the opportunity without exposing herself to extreme danger. Another key principle is learning from failure. Not every risk will lead to success. Losses are part of the journey. What matters is how you respond to them. Rich people treat losses as lessons. They analyze what went wrong and use that knowledge to improve future decisions. This mindset turns failures into valuable experiences. For instance, a businessman named Junaid invested in a project that did not succeed. Instead of giving up, he studied the reasons behind the failure. He identified mistakes in planning and execution. When he started his next venture, he applied those lessons and achieved better results. His willingness to learn transformed a negative experience into a stepping stone. Timing also plays a role in risk and reward. Sometimes the same decision can have different outcomes depending on when it is made. Rich people pay attention to timing. They observe trends and wait for the right moment to act. This patience helps them reduce risk and increase the chances of success. It is also important to understand your own risk tolerance. Not everyone is comfortable with the same level of risk, and that is normal. The goal is to find a balance that allows you to grow without causing unnecessary stress. Rich people know their limits and make decisions that align with their goals and comfort level. Imagine a man named Khalid who preferred steady growth over high-risk opportunities. He focused on long-term investments that provided consistent returns. Another person might choose more aggressive strategies. Both approaches can lead to success if they are based on understanding and discipline. The key is to make choices that you can manage and sustain. As you think about risk, consider your current approach. Do you avoid it completely, or do you take chances without thinking? Are you willing to learn and improve your decision-making? These questions can help you develop a healthier relationship with risk. Risk is not the enemy. It is a part of growth. Without it, progress becomes limited. but it must be handled with care and awareness. Rich people respect risk. They do not ignore it, and they do not fear it. They study it, plan for it, and use it to move forward. This chapter is a reminder that reward comes to those who are willing to step beyond their comfort zone while staying grounded in knowledge and strategy. When you learn to manage risk, you open the door to opportunities that can transform your financial life. Understanding risk and reward is not about becoming fearless. It is about becoming wise. It is about knowing when to move forward, when to step back, and how to make decisions that bring you closer to your goals. This is how wealth is built, not by avoiding risk. Chapter 6. Building multiple streams of income. One of the most powerful rules that rich people understand is that relying on a single source of income is one of the greatest financial risks a person can take. Most people are taught to study hard, get a good job, and depend on a monthly salary. While this may provide stability in the beginning, it creates a hidden weakness. When all your income depends on one source, your entire financial life becomes fragile. If that source is affected, everything else is affected as well. Rich people think differently. They focus on building multiple streams of income so that money flows to them from different directions. This creates security, stability, and growth. It reduces dependence on any single source and increases the chances of financial success. Instead of putting all their energy into one path, they create a system where different income streams support each other. Imagine a man named Arif who worked at a stable job for many years. He believed that loyalty and hard work would always guarantee his position. One day, the company faced difficulties and reduced its workforce. Arif lost his job and suddenly found himself struggling to manage his expenses. His entire financial life was dependent on one source, and when that source disappeared, he had no backup. Now consider another person named Hamza, who also worked a full-time job. But he did not rely on it completely. He started small by saving a portion of his income and investing it. He explored side opportunities such as freelancing and small business ideas. Over time, these efforts created additional income streams. When his job situation changed, he was not completely affected because he had other sources of income supporting him. This is the strength of multiple income streams. They act as a safety net and a growth engine at the same time. Even if one stream slows down, others continue to flow. This reduces stress and provides confidence because your financial life is not dependent on a single point of failure. Income streams can come in many forms. Active income is the money you earn by working, such as a job or a business where your time is directly involved. Passive income is the money that comes in with little ongoing effort, such as rental income, investments, or royalties. Rich people aim to increase passive income over time because it allows them to earn without constantly trading time for money. Consider the example of a woman named Mewish. She started her career with a regular job, but had a vision to create more income streams. She began by offering online services based on her skills. Later, she invested in a small property that generated rental income. She also explored investments in the stock market. At first, each stream was small, but together, they created a steady flow of income. Over time, her passive income grew and reduced her dependence on her job. One of the key reasons people do not build multiple income streams is because they feel overwhelmed. They believe it requires a lot of money, time, or expertise. In reality, it starts with small steps. You do not need to create everything at once. You can begin with one additional stream and gradually expand. The important thing is to start and stay consistent. Another challenge is comfort. Many people become comfortable with a single income because it feels safe and familiar. They hesitate to explore new opportunities because of fear or uncertainty. Rich people understand that growth requires stepping out of comfort zones. They are willing to try new things, learn new skills, and adapt to change. Think about a young man named Bill who wanted to improve his financial situation. Instead of spending all his free time on entertainment, he decided to learn a new skill. It was not easy at first, and progress was slow, but he remained consistent. Eventually, that skill turned into a source of income. This became his second stream. Encouraged by this success, he explored other opportunities and continued to grow. Time management plays an important role in building multiple streams. Many people believe they do not have enough time. But when you analyze how time is spent, there are often areas that can be used more productively. Rich people prioritize activities that contribute to growth. They use their time wisely and focus on actions that bring long-term benefits. Another important principle is reinvesting income. When a new income stream starts generating money, it can be tempting to spend it immediately. Rich people often reinvest that income into creating more streams or expanding existing ones. This creates a cycle of growth where each stream helps build another. For example, a businessman named Rashid started with a small venture that generated extra income. Instead of spending the profits, he reinvested them into another opportunity. Over time, he built several income streams that worked together. His financial situation improved steadily because he focused on growth rather than immediate consumption. It is also important to diversify income streams. Relying on similar types of income can still create risk. For instance, if all your income comes from one industry, any change in that industry can affect all your streams. Rich people spread their income across different areas to reduce this risk and create balance. Building multiple streams of income is not just about money. It is about creating freedom. When you have different sources of income, you gain control over your time and choices. You are not forced to depend on a single job or opportunity. You can make decisions based on what is best for your future, rather than what is necessary for survival. As you reflect on this chapter, think about your current situation. How many income streams do you have? Are you relying on a single source, or are you creating multiple flows? What small step can you take to begin building another stream? These questions can guide your journey. The process may take time and effort, but the rewards are significant. Each new stream adds strength to your financial foundation. Each step you take brings you closer to independence. Rich people do not wait for opportunities to come to them. They create opportunities and build systems that generate income. They understand that money can come from many directions, and they position themselves to receive it. This chapter is a reminder that financial security is not built on one pillar, but on many. When you begin to build multiple streams of income, you move from a position of dependence to a position of control. This is how wealth grows, not in a single line, but in many streams. Chapter 7. Delayed Gratification and Patience. One of the most powerful yet difficult rules that rich people follow is the ability to delay gratification. In simple words, it means choosing long-term success over short-term pleasure. This is not something that comes naturally to most people. Human nature often pushes us toward immediate rewards. We want comfort now, enjoyment now, and results now. But wealth does not work that way. Wealth is built slowly through consistent decisions made over time. Most people fall into the trap of instant gratification. As soon as they earn money, they feel the urge to spend it. A new phone, a better car, expensive clothes, or frequent outings become ways to reward themselves. While there is nothing wrong with enjoying life, the problem arises when these habits prevent growth. When spending becomes a priority over investing, the future is sacrificed for the present. Rich people think differently. They understand that every financial decision has a long-term impact. Instead of asking, "What can I enjoy today?" they ask, "What can I build for tomorrow?" This shift in thinking allows them to make choices that may feel difficult in the moment, but create powerful results over time. Consider the story of two friends, Navid and Samir. Both started earning at the same time and had similar incomes. Navid believed in enjoying life as much as possible. He spent most of his salary on lifestyle upgrades and short-term pleasures. Samir chose a different path. He decided to control his spending and invest a portion of his income regularly. In the beginning, Navid appeared to have a more enjoyable life. He had better gadgets, went to more places, and seemed happier. Samir's life looked simple. He avoided unnecessary expenses and focused on building his savings and investments. It was not always easy. There were moments when he felt tempted to spend like others. But he reminded himself of his long-term goals and stayed disciplined. Years later, the results became clear. Samir had built assets and financial stability, while Navid was still dependent on his monthly income and struggling to keep up with his expenses. This example shows the power of delayed gratification. It is not about denying yourself forever. It is about making thoughtful choices and understanding the value of time. When you delay small pleasures today, you create the possibility of greater freedom in the future. Patience is closely connected to this principle. Wealth does not grow overnight. Investments take time to mature. Businesses take time to succeed. Skills take time to develop. Many people give up because they expect quick results. When they do not see immediate progress, they lose motivation. Rich people understand that growth is a process. They remain patient and trust their journey. Think about planting seeds in a field. You do not expect crops to grow the next day. You water them, care for them, and wait. Over time, they grow and provide results. Financial growth works in the same way. Every investment, every saving, and every smart decision is like planting a seed. With patience and consistency, these seeds grow into something valuable. A powerful example is a woman named Shazia, who decided to invest a small portion of her income every month. At first, the results were not noticeable. It felt like her efforts were too small to make a difference. But she stayed consistent. Over the years, her investments grew significantly. What started as a small habit turned into a strong financial foundation. Her patience allowed her to achieve results that seemed impossible in the beginning. Delayed gratification also builds discipline. It trains your mind to focus on what truly matters. Instead of reacting to every desire, you learn to evaluate your choices. You begin to ask yourself whether a purchase is necessary or whether that money can be used more wisely. This awareness leads to better decisions and stronger habits. Rich people often create systems to support this discipline. They automate their savings and investments so that a portion of their income is set aside before they have a chance to spend it. This removes the temptation and makes the process easier. Over time, these small actions create significant results. Another important aspect is understanding the difference between wants and needs. Many people confuse the two and justify unnecessary spending. Rich people are clear about their priorities. They focus on needs and carefully evaluate wants. This does not mean they never enjoy life. It means they enjoy it in a balanced and thoughtful way. For example, a man named Fahad wanted to buy an expensive watch. Instead of making an impulsive decision, he asked himself if it aligned with his financial goals. He decided to invest that money instead. Years later, his investments allowed him to buy the same watch without any financial pressure. By delaying his desire, he gained both the watch and financial security. It is also important to understand that delayed gratification does not mean living a life of constant restriction. It means creating a balance. You can still enjoy your present while planning for your future. The key is to avoid habits that harm your long-term growth. As you reflect on your own life, think about your spending habits. Do you prioritize immediate pleasure or long-term success? Are your decisions helping you build wealth or keeping you in the same cycle? These questions can help you become more aware of your choices. The journey of delayed gratification is not always easy. It requires self-control, awareness, and commitment. But the rewards are worth it. It leads to financial stability, freedom, and the ability to live life on your own terms. Rich people understand that time is one of the most valuable assets. When you combine time with patience and discipline, the results can be extraordinary. Small, consistent actions grow into significant achievements. This chapter is a reminder that wealth is not built in moments of impulse, but in moments of discipline. Every time you choose to delay gratification, you take a step toward a stronger future. Every time you remain patient, you allow your efforts to grow. This is how success is created, not through quick wins, but through steady progress over time. Chapter 8. Networking and Relationships. One of the most underestimated rules of money is the power of relationships. Many people believe that success is achieved only through individual effort, hard work, and personal talent. While these are important, they are not enough on their own. Rich people understand that wealth is rarely built in isolation. It grows through connections, collaboration, and the exchange of value between people. Every opportunity, every idea, and every major step forward in life is often connected to someone. The people you meet, the conversations you have, and the relationships you build can open doors that would otherwise remain closed. This is why networking is not just a social activity, it is a powerful financial tool. Most people limit their interactions to their immediate circle. They spend time with people who think the same way, have the same habits, and share the same limitations. While this may feel comfortable, it often keeps them stuck. Rich people are intentional about expanding their network. They seek out individuals who inspire them, challenge them, and expose them to new perspectives. Consider the story of a young man named Solomon. He had skills and ambition, but struggled to find opportunities. One day he attended a small business event where he met people from different industries. Through conversations he gained new ideas and connected with someone who later became his business partner. That single connection changed his path. It gave him access to knowledge, resources, and opportunities that he could not have reached on his own. Networking is not about collecting contacts or impressing others. It is about building genuine relationships based on trust and mutual value. Rich people focus on giving before they expect to receive. They help others share knowledge and create value in their interactions. This approach builds strong connections that last over time. Think about a woman named Ariba who wanted to grow her career. Instead of waiting for opportunities, she started connecting with professionals in her field. She asked questions, shared her ideas, and offered help whenever she could. Over time, she built a network of supportive individuals. When a new opportunity arose, her network played a key role in helping her achieve it. Her success was not just the result of her efforts, but also the strength of her relationships. Another important aspect of networking is learning. Every person you meet has a different experience and perspective. By engaging with others, you gain insights that can accelerate your growth. Rich people treat every interaction as a chance to learn. They listen carefully, observe, and absorb knowledge that can help them make better decisions. For example, a businessman named Kamal regularly attended industry gatherings. He did not go there just to promote himself. He went to learn from others. Through these interactions, he discovered new trends, avoided common mistakes, and found opportunities to expand his business. His network became a source of continuous learning. Trust is the foundation of strong relationships. Without trust, connections remain weak and temporary. Rich people understand this and invest time in building trust. They are reliable, consistent, and honest in their interactions. This creates a reputation that attracts more opportunities and stronger partnerships. Consider a man named Javed, who built his business not only through his skills, but through his reputation. People trusted him because he delivered on his promises and treated others with respect. This trust led to referrals, partnerships, and growth. His relationships became one of his most valuable assets. It is also important to surround yourself with the right people. Your environment influences your mindset, habits, and actions. If you are surrounded by negativity, doubt, and fear, it becomes difficult to grow. Rich people choose their environment carefully. They spend time with individuals who encourage growth and push them to improve. Imagine two scenarios. In one, you are surrounded by people who constantly complain, avoid risks, and discourage new ideas. In the other, you are surrounded by people who take action, share knowledge, and support each other. The second environment naturally leads to better outcomes. This is why choosing the right circle is so important. Networking also creates opportunities for collaboration. When people with different skills and ideas come together, they can achieve more than they could individually. Rich people look for ways to collaborate and create value together. This multiplies their impact and accelerates their success. For instance, two entrepreneurs, Ali and Usman, decided to combine their strengths. One had expertise in marketing, while the other had technical skills. Together, they built a successful business that neither could have created alone. Their partnership turned their individual abilities into a powerful force. Another key principle is staying connected. Building relationships is not a one-time effort. It requires ongoing communication and care. Rich people maintain their connections by staying in touch, offering support, and showing genuine interest. This keeps their network strong and active. Technology has made networking easier than ever. Social platforms, professional communities, and online events provide opportunities to connect with people from around the world. However, the principles remain the same. Authenticity, value, and trust are what make connections meaningful. As you reflect on this chapter, think about your current network. Who are the people you spend time with? Do they inspire growth or keep you in the same place? Are you actively building relationships or waiting for opportunities to come to you? These questions can help you identify areas for improvement. Building a strong network takes time and effort, but the rewards are significant. It opens doors to opportunities, provides support during challenges, and creates a sense of community. It also reminds you that success is not a solo journey, but a shared experience. Rich people understand that relationships are a form of wealth. They invest in them with the same seriousness as they invest in assets. Because in many cases, the right connection can create opportunities that no amount of money can buy. This chapter is a reminder that who you know and how you connect can shape your future. When you build meaningful relationships, you create a network that supports your growth and multiplies your possibilities. This is how success expands, not just through individual effort, but through the strength of connection. Chapter 9. Avoiding the debt trap. Debt is one of the most powerful forces in the world of money. It can help you grow, or it can quietly destroy your financial future. Most people fall into debt without fully understanding its impact. They see it as a quick solution to their problems, or a way to achieve a better lifestyle. Rich people approach debt very differently. They understand its nature and use it carefully as a tool rather than becoming trapped by it. For many individuals, debt begins with small decisions. A credit card purchase here, a loan for a gadget there, and gradually it becomes a habit. At first, it feels manageable. Payments seem small, and the benefits feel immediate. But over time, these small obligations grow into a heavy burden. Interest accumulates, and payments increase. What once felt like convenience turns into pressure. Consider the story of a man named Asif. He started using credit to improve his lifestyle. He bought expensive items that he could not afford with his current income. Each purchase felt justified at the time. But as months passed, his payments increased, and his financial stress grew. A large portion of his income went toward repaying debt. Instead of moving forward, he felt stuck in a cycle that was difficult to escape. Now think about another individual named No Man. He also had access to credit, but chose to use it carefully. He avoided unnecessary borrowing and focused on saving and investing. When he did take a loan, it was for something that had the potential to generate income, such as a business or property. His approach allowed him to use debt as a tool rather than becoming controlled by it. This difference highlights an important concept, the distinction between good debt and bad debt. Bad debt is used for consumption. It is taken to buy things that do not generate income and often lose value over time. This type of debt drains your resources and limits your financial growth. Good debt, on the other hand, is used to create opportunities. It is taken for investments that have the potential to generate returns and increase your wealth. Rich people are very careful about this distinction. They avoid debt that adds no value to their lives and focus on opportunities where debt can be used strategically. They understand that borrowing money is a responsibility, and they make sure it aligns with their long-term goals. Another important factor is interest. Many people underestimate the impact of interest on their finances. When you borrow money, you are not just repaying the amount you took. You are also paying extra over time. This extra amount can become significant and reduce your ability to save and invest. Rich people pay close attention to interest rates and ensure that any borrowing they do is beneficial in the long run. Think about a woman named Farah, who took a loan to start a small business. She carefully calculated the potential returns and ensured that her business could generate enough income to cover the loan and create profit. Her planning allowed her to use debt effectively. In contrast, another person took a loan for personal expenses without considering the long-term impact. The repayments became a burden and limited their financial progress. Discipline plays a major role in avoiding the debt trap. It requires the ability to control spending and make thoughtful decisions. Many people fall into debt because they act on impulse. They see something they want and choose immediate satisfaction over long-term stability. Rich people practice discipline. They evaluate their needs and make decisions based on their goals rather than their desires. Another important principle is living within your means. This means spending less than you earn and avoiding unnecessary expenses. When you live within your means, you create space for saving and investing. This reduces the need for borrowing and strengthens your financial position. Imagine a man named Khalid who decided to live a simple life despite having a decent income. He avoided unnecessary expenses and focused on building his savings. Over time, he accumulated enough to invest in opportunities that generated income. His disciplined approach kept him free from debt and allowed him to grow financially. It is also important to understand the emotional side of debt. Debt can create stress, anxiety, and a sense of being trapped. It affects not only your finances, but also your mental well-being. Rich people value peace of mind and avoid situations that create unnecessary pressure. They prefer to build wealth steadily, rather than chasing a lifestyle that requires constant borrowing. If you are already in debt, the first step is awareness. You need to understand your situation clearly. This includes knowing how much you owe, the interest rates, and your repayment plan. Once you have this clarity, you can start taking steps to reduce your debt. This may involve cutting expenses, increasing income, and prioritizing repayments. Consider the story of a young man named Usman who found himself in significant debt. Instead of ignoring the problem, he faced it directly. He created a plan, reduced his spending, and focused on paying off his obligations step by step. It was not easy, and it required sacrifice, but over time, he became debt-free. This experience taught him valuable lessons and changed his approach to money. Rich people also build emergency funds to avoid unnecessary borrowing. Unexpected expenses are a part of life. Without savings, these situations often lead to debt. Having a financial cushion allows you to handle challenges without relying on credit. Another key aspect is understanding that not all debt is immediately harmful, but it must be managed carefully. Even good debt can become a problem if it is not planned properly. This is why knowledge and discipline are essential. As you reflect on this chapter, think about your relationship with debt. Are you using it as a tool, or is it controlling your decisions? Are your financial choices helping you move forward or keeping you in the same cycle? These questions can guide you toward better decisions. Avoiding the debt trap is not about avoiding all forms of borrowing. It is about understanding when and how to use it wisely. It is about making choices that support your long-term goals rather than satisfying short-term desires. Rich people respect the power of debt. They do not fear it, but they do not misuse it. They approach it with caution, awareness, and strategy. This allows them to protect their wealth and continue growing. This chapter is a reminder that financial freedom is not just about earning more. It is also about managing what you have and avoiding the traps that can hold you back. When you learn to control debt, you take a significant step towards stability and independence. This is how you protect your future, not by ignoring debt, but by mastering it. Chapter 10. Giving and Value Creation. One of the most misunderstood rules of money is the idea of giving. Many people believe that wealth is created by holding on to money and keeping as much as possible. They think that giving will reduce what they have and slow down their progress. Rich people understand something very different. They know that money grows when it moves, and that true wealth is built by creating value for others. At its core, money is a reflection of value. People earn money when they solve problems, provide services, or create something that others need. The more value you create, the more money you attract. This is why rich people focus less on chasing money and more on creating value. They ask themselves, how can I help? How can I improve lives? And how can I contribute in a meaningful way? Consider the story of a man named Harun. He started a small business with the intention of making quick profits. He focused only on selling and did not pay much attention to quality or customer experience. In the beginning, he made some money, but his business did not last. Customers stopped returning because they did not feel satisfied. On the other hand, another businessman named Faisal started with a different mindset. He focused on providing the best possible value to his customers. He improved his products, listened to feedback, and built trust. Over time, his business grew steadily because people appreciated what he offered. His focus on value created lasting success. Giving is closely connected to value creation. When you give, whether it is time, knowledge, support, or resources, you create a positive impact. This impact often returns to you in unexpected ways. It may come as opportunities, connections, or growth. Rich people understand that giving is not a loss, but an investment in relationships and goodwill. Think about a woman named Nadia, who regularly shared her knowledge with others. She helped people learn new skills without expecting anything in return. Over time, her reputation grew, and people began to trust her. This trust led to new opportunities, including partnerships and business growth. Her willingness to give created value not only for others, but also for herself. Another important aspect is the mindset behind giving. If you give with the expectation of immediate return, you may feel disappointed. True giving comes from a place of contribution and purpose. Rich people give because they understand that value multiplies when it is shared. They focus on the long-term impact rather than short-term gain. This principle can also be seen in businesses that succeed over time. Companies that focus on customer satisfaction, quality, and innovation tend to grow stronger. They create value that keeps people coming back. In contrast, businesses that focus only on profit without considering value often struggle to maintain their position. Giving is not limited to money. It can take many forms. Sharing knowledge, mentoring others, supporting a cause, or simply helping someone in need are all forms of giving. Each act of giving strengthens your connection with others and builds a positive environment around you. Consider the example of a young professional named Ali who volunteered his time to help others develop skills. He did not receive payment for his efforts, but he gained experience, confidence, and connections. Later, these connections helped him advance in his career. His giving created opportunities that he could not have predicted. Rich people also understand the importance of gratitude. They appreciate what they have and recognize the role others have played in their journey. This gratitude encourages them to give back and contribute to society. It creates a cycle where success leads to contribution and contribution leads to more success. Another key idea is that value creation requires effort and innovation. It is not enough to do what everyone else is doing. To create significant value, you need to think differently and find ways to improve existing systems. Rich people are constantly looking for ways to innovate and solve problems. This mindset allows them to stay ahead and continue growing. For example, a businessman named Cameron noticed a gap in the market where customers were not receiving good service. Instead of ignoring it, he created a solution that focused on quality and customer care. His business quickly gained attention because it provided something that others were not offering. His ability to identify a problem and create value turned into financial success. It is also important to understand that giving creates a sense of fulfillment. Money alone cannot provide lasting happiness. When you use your resources to make a positive impact, you experience a deeper sense of purpose. Rich people often engage in activities that benefit others because it adds meaning to their success. As you reflect on this chapter, think about how you can create value in your own life. What skills do you have that can help others? What problems can you solve? How can you contribute in a meaningful way? These questions can guide you toward a path that combines financial growth with personal fulfillment. The journey of wealth is not just about accumulation. It is about contribution. When you focus on creating value, you naturally attract opportunities and build stronger connections. When you give, you expand your influence and create a positive cycle of growth. Rich people understand that money is a tool for impact. They use it to build businesses, support communities, and create change. They know that true success is not measured only by what you have, but by what you give and the value you create. This chapter is a reminder that wealth is not a destination, but a journey of growth and contribution. When you align your actions with value creation and giving, you build a foundation that goes beyond financial success. This is how money truly works. It flows toward value and multiplies. Conclusion. The rules of money. Rich people know this. As you reach the end of this journey, one truth should now be clear. Money is not just something you earn. It is something you understand, manage, and grow. The difference between those who struggle and those who build wealth is not only in how much they earn, but in how they think and act with money. The rules you have explored are not secrets hidden from the world. They are principles that are often ignored, misunderstood, or never applied. Throughout this book, you have seen that money begins in the mind. Your beliefs shape your actions, and your actions shape your results. When you understand money beyond cash, you begin to see opportunities where others see limits. When you focus on building assets, you create systems that work for you, instead of always working for money. When you shift your mindset, you open the door to growth, learning, and possibility. You have also learned that knowledge is power. Understanding the language of money allows you to make better decisions and avoid common mistakes. It gives you clarity and confidence in a world where many feel uncertain. Risk becomes something you can manage rather than something you fear. You begin to see it as a path to growth rather than a barrier. Building multiple streams of income shows you that financial security does not come from a single source. It comes from creating a network of opportunities that support each other. Delayed gratification teaches you patience and discipline, reminding you that real success takes time. Networking and relationships reveal that success is not a solo journey, but a shared experience where connections create possibilities. Avoiding the debt trap protects your progress and keeps you from falling into cycles that limit your growth. And finally, giving and value creation remind you that money flows toward those who contribute and create impact. Wealth is not just about accumulation, it is about circulation and purpose. All these principles are connected. They work together to create a complete picture of financial success. Ignoring one can weaken the others, while applying them together can transform your life. But knowledge alone is not enough. The true power of these rules lies in action. There will always be reasons to delay change. There will always be fears, doubts, and distractions. But every small step you take matters. Every decision to save, invest, learn, or grow moves you closer to a different reality. Change does not happen overnight, but it happens over time through consistent effort. Think about where you are today and where you want to be. The path between those 2 points is shaped by your choices. You have the ability to change your direction no matter your starting point. It does not require perfection, it requires commitment. There will be challenges along the way. There will be moments of uncertainty and setbacks. But these are part of the journey. What matters is how you respond. When you apply the rules you have learned, you develop the strength to move forward and the wisdom to adapt. Money itself is neutral. It does not define you, but it reflects your habits and decisions. When you understand it, you gain control. When you control it, you create freedom. And with that freedom, you can build a life that is not limited by financial stress, but guided by purpose and choice. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning. The rules of money are not something you read once and forget. They are principles you live by every day. As you continue to learn, grow, and take action, you will see changes not only in your finances, but in your mindset and your life. The world is full of opportunities waiting to be recognized. The knowledge is now in your hands. The next step is yours to take. This is how wealth is built, not by chance, but by understanding, discipline, and action. The end.